we're installing a rebounder and bracket on a new style Case IH planter. This is what it will look like when it's finished on the planter. So you're going to be getting a rebounder and then a bracket that goes up inside the seed boot. And we put little tabs on here because a lot of these seed boots, when you put them in place, the roll pin hole will not line up. I'm not centered. No matter what I do, I can't get that roll pin in that hole. I've got a roll pin punch here, and it won't go through. I'm covered up about half of the hole. So with the seed boot off of the planter, I just take a vice grip or a water pump pliers, and I bend this out a little bit so that we can install the roll pin in the hole. And I'm going to tighten this down first. Pretty well centered there. Okay, now I'm going to twist it to get it into place. A lot of times some of these seed boots aren't exactly the same, and we've bent this bracket out, and now I've got my roll pin ready to go into place on it. Oh, man. Check and see if you're in line. There we go. Now we're started. Pound the roll pin in. Now we've got so now we need to bend this back into place. We need to tighten that dude down. So I just take a punch and punch it back into place. And if the rebounder is off of this, if there's a gap between the rebounder and this, then what we do, we'll normally take a punch and tap it down, set it over here to the edge of the bench, and tap it down so that everything's tight. And in that rebounder, when we suck it down on top of on that bracket, it's totally tighten that whiz nut down, 1/4 inch whiz nut, and it can't go anywhere there. A lot of times we were having problems, and we used to put in a bracket. We used to put this in, and sometimes it wouldn't get down inside. And this is a better way of doing it, really. If you do this, then it can't twist on you. A lot of times what was happening with this bracket loose, the rebounder it'd sit there and twist on you when you pick the planter up before you come out of the ground. And you want this bracket good and tight, or about no more play than that in it when you get done, after you've tapped this back down, after you've pulled it out and got it back down. And then we're tightening this up. Takes about 5 minutes per row to put one on. You want it good and tight. And this is the seed boot that we're using. This is the new style. This is a 84, 24, 32, 85. This new style seed boot has this little notch cut out inside here, as you can see. This little space in there. Case IH used to use that with a stainless steel tube, and sometimes it would, by squirting fertilizer in here, it would build up inside the stainless steel tube. And this is a much better way. Okay. Now we're ready to put a Y together. If you can't get your hose in, I heat it up a little bit with a hair dryer or a electric heat gun. Lets it slide in real easy. Now on the Y, I'll do a little bit here. Makes it easy to put it together. We have two styles of Ys. We have the yellow Y. Now it's half the size of the hole of the clear Y. And we had farmers that when they were putting on 4 to 5 gallons per acre, that one side of this Y would plug off on the unit. So they were saying, well, I want to get it on both sides. And the reason why we come out with this then, the volume of this Y right here, it'll go up to 12, 13 gallons per acre. But when you get down into that 4 or 5 gallon range in furrow, it's not big enough, or it's too large, and the volume that's coming through with fertilizer it doesn't have enough volume to go through both of them at the same time. So one side a lot of times will plug off with dirt, and then it'll just go out one side. So we developed the yellow Y. It's half the size of the holes as the clear one, and it's for up to probably about 6 gallons per acre. Now, once we put this together, we're ready to mount it on the rebounder. So on this Case IH boot, we're going to lay this in place and get my screw. I'm going to start the screw first in one of them. We're starting the screw in on the one side, and I don't tighten it all the way down, then I can flip it over on the unit. I can lay my Y in there. Makes it easier. I might have tightened it just a hair tight to do this. Now we're ready to put our other screw in. Set it down here. Put a little pressure on it. Okay, we got it. Now, on the Case IH planter, this hole was made for to put up through your, it lets us run our hose because you have your covering disc bracket in here that once you put it back on the planter, and in this hose can run right up on the inside. And we use brake line hose. It's black hard plastic, so it doesn't give any problems later on when you're planting and rub a hole in it or anything. So then you can go up above and put a quick connect up here on the unit, and you're ready to go. So now we're ready to install it back on the planter. And this is that new style seed boot, the 84, 24, 32, 85, that has this slotted hole in here. This is the only boot that you can get for Case IH planters now, even for the 8 and 900. And this makes a good way of putting your fertilizer up through. You don't have to put it on the outside of the planter unit and have stalks get caught on it and rip it out of there. This way it's inside the planter and running up through up by the seed box where you plug it into your either a check valve, diaphragm type check, or something like that up there. Okay. On the rebounder, we'll put the fertilizer on the sidewall of the seed trench, and it eliminates getting fertilizer directly on the seed. We can also run this hose down, pull that out of there. Well, it don't want to come now. Anyway, we can run a hose right down off the end of the rebounder if you so desire, and you can push this hose through, and you can run right directly with the seed if you have inoculant and things like that, or if you want to put a little extra starter fertilizer on, you can use the Y splitter, and it puts it on the sidewall of the seed V. And on any of our rebounders, we can do this.